This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, Brevin, I think you're muted.
Yeah, the sound of silence is here. Yeah.
It doesn't show muted on the attendee list, so.
I was muted.
Okay.
Good. Okay, so introducing, I apologize for the noise. Just introducing, I was unable to attend last week, but you guys started going through your specifications. Thank you for taking the notes on that. That's a good record of what you discussed. And um, now you said that there was going to be some additional finalization on that specification. So let's start with the Swedish modules specification. And if you want me to make you the presenter, I can do that.
Yeah, or if you open up the document on the Google Drive, it's there. It's just below, I think, Rob's. Yeah, if you go to the side, yeah, you have it there. 300 kW modular data center specification. I name it similar to Rob's there. So we agree upon the simple layout and disposition that you have performed, Rob. And
Good.
I copy it, and you gave me the templates. I tried to convert them to our size and our work. So I mean, I'm using the same disposition and table of contents, headlines and everything now. So it's similar to yours with drawings and sketches and so on. So this is the level you show me, and I try to make it for the scale out module. Okay, the table we know from earlier is the same. Module specification summary. We haven't changed that. And I put in some content there when it comes to IP rating, type of material, insulation, sizes, just facts. Yeah, that's the material description and spec for our module that we are using. Okay, I think if it's too detailed, we can simplify it. That's easier to do. But I put in what we got. Documentation of the panels, the steel construction. Yeah.
I think the detail is good. We'll want to make sure that it's organized so that it's clear and a person can easily find the information that they want.
Clean up when it comes to the layout needs to be done there. I maybe ruin the layout here and there. Yeah, so it's need to be cleaned, I think. But I think if you're fine with the level of the documentation, we can continue if you don't have any comments on that.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. And that's the plan view, side and end, simple drawing. I think it's the same that I used to we need, for sure, you have a site picture we are working on, a picture of the typical site with, you have it with generators and condensers and a site view, you can say it, you have on your, I think we are working to do a site overview as well as 2D or 3D picture. You have a 3D picture, I think.
Oh yeah. That's a good. I like that description for it. I think I'll
Yeah.
use that site overview. Yeah.
Yeah. So you easily could get an imagine how it could look on site with the supporting systems around. And so we are doing at the same level that as you have on your picture. I mean, that should be sufficient, yeah. And also in accordance with the specs for a reference design with gensets and chillers and so on, which is coming later here in the document.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I boosted up the generators after. Yeah, I saw it was the wrong number figures. So I changed it later. You can see it on the overview later. I think I put in 600 kVA generators instead of 400 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Just to take care of we have this discussion last meeting. I think you have.
So yeah. So one thing I didn't, the color seems okay. I tried to alter the color to make it a little more open compute. So red is power, blue is cooling, and then the kind of that green is just IT. Very.
Yeah.
I think that works.
I use the same colors as you.
Yeah.
I made the chillers blue, and you have the condenser blue. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same scope. You have one with UPS and one without central UPS.
Yeah, and yours gets a little more complicated because you could, if you do multiple modules, you could even have a separate, you could have a centralized system power, input system for more than one module. So
yeah,
yours gets complicated.
And also for the cooling, of course,
Yeah.
if you stack. I mean, if you set 7 side by side, you have 2 kilowatts or something like that. You can have a central, rather big, and also centralized chiller system or district cooling system, or what do you connect as chill water. So I mean, it's a little bit more. This is only, I mean, one unit showing the setup, but maybe should I connect to just to give it an example of the scale out? What do you think?
Yeah, showing an example of how it could be scaled out. I think that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
We do so. Shall I add one with a scale out picture, you think? Shall I keep those two and then add one with the scale out? Let's say 3 modules or something, just to exemplify it. Or should I exchange those?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Shall I keep those pictures with single ones and add one more with a scale out picture? Let's say.
Yeah. That's what I think so. Yep.
I add one with 3 modules just to show how it could be scaled out. Okay. Got it. And also filling in these technical specs there, one after another there. Technical specification. External environmental range, I don't know exactly what to put in there. You have an idea of the technical specs? Is the C there?
Yeah, I gotta look. So I have to. I'm glad you went first. I have to make an admission that I was not able to do anything this past week. So
yeah.
I'm like a kid who didn't do his homework for class. I was gonna not show up to the call, but I figured that wouldn't be in good form.
You way back in the classroom.
Yeah, I'm trying to sit in the back. And, nobody.
Don't make too much noise.
Yeah. Let me look at. I got a document from our guys to see if on those items that you're talking about, to see if we do anything on that.
I mean, fire resistance, floor load, and roof load is easy for us. Wind load, I think we had taken care of. I think this is in an earlier chapter as well.
Like
in the beginning,
I have one. It says wind load can withstand non-sustained wind speeds up to 160 kilometers per hour per Euro code EN blah blah blah. Shock load, normal transportation conditions before installation. Steel frame design. Base skid is constructed.
When you say lighting protection, is are you refer to any EMC levels there, or filters of any kind, or the grounding system?
Probably just the grounding system.
Yeah,
is my guess. I'm trying to see if there's anything in this document that has that. Lighting, emergency lighting, main input panel. Yeah, I don't see any specifics on just grounding. The module includes an integrated grounding system. But you know what? I don't see anything on lighting in here. So maybe that was a brainstorming. We kind of threw it into the document when we were talking on the call.
As standard, you don't have it, but I mean, in special areas and special demands, of course, you can add.
Right.
That's an option, I will say, if you're in areas with a lot of lightning strikes and so on. So I mean, this is an EMC installation you need to do.
Right.
So we can keep it or just add some comments to it. I don't know.
Let's just move it below the grounding and bonding and apply it to any sort of specific location. And even if it's a note that it's been considered, but it can't be defined because region specifics. Then
region specific, yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, then I think
Rob or Roberto, this is Nigel speaking.
Hi.
Just a question on how you doing, Rob?
Okay.
Great, man. Just a question on that layout. I see there's a single entry and entrance. Is there a need for a second exit in case of fire?
We have that discussion last week as well. I think there were special regulations.
Apologize for bringing up this topic again.
Yeah, I think we could add, of course. We need to escape. I mean, in the short side, in the coal aisle. Then I mean, you have 120 there. You could have escape door in the back. Move the chillers a bit. So you got that because maybe some local regulations. We don't have it in Sweden below 50. Yeah. We have 15 meters from the nearest escape door, so that will, but maybe you have different regulations, so we need to take care of that. And also if needed, we put in an extra door, of course, but maybe we should have it in what do you think? Should it be a standard with 2 doors?
I think so. Yeah, I think you should definitely show a second door, I believe.
Yeah. I should be at the opposite side of the module then.
Of course, I would say at least minimum, perhaps a regulation compliant fire exit, whether it's a hatch or something. At least as minimum would be probably suggested.
Yeah. So okay. But we put in an extra for escaping there in the back. I think we could manage to take in the pipes on one side and have the door in the coal aisle and get the infrastructure not interrupting the fire escape way. Yeah, we can do that. So I put in an extra door. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
You're taking notes, Brevin? I need to put.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to organize my windows. I hope you guys are still seeing.
Yeah.
The document.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Little hiccup. Trying to find the right thing. I'll just open it back up. And,
Yeah. I will update the drawings. I will put in one extra scale out, and I will put in an extra door for fire escape purposes. And then that's what I have noticed so far.
Yeah.
And we should comment the lightning text there with applicable when regulations or what do you say, Brevin? When needed or when yeah. Should be a short note there in the text.
Okay, you guys seeing the document now?
Absolutely.
Again?
Up and running.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll take those notes.
Yeah. So we put in content under the headlines there, and also external environmental range. I need some help with. I don't know how to explain that or how we take care of it. You don't have anything there either, Rob, under that one?
Under which one?
C1, external environmental range.
Yeah, that is going to be dictated by the cooling system usually, right?
Yeah.
Size of the chiller coils and things like that. So I got to put it into the document, but yeah, max temperature, minimum temperature.
Okay. That's, oh yeah, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
The calculated, values of the
It could be a copy from the cooling system, unless there's some other another constraint on the design.
Yeah, I mean, we have reference to a number of PUEs there and geographic locations. We can take the numbers from there, so you could see the baseline for the calculations of the PUEs and so on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've definitely been constrained in like you could be in a crazy cold place where chiller systems don't quite work the way they are designed, or you're in a super hot place and their capacities all change. So yeah.
Right. Yes, I think that's. I use your simple.
Yeah, now I don't think unless you saw the recording, Brevin, it'd be good to get your take on this. Drawings, good enough for like a specification document, you think? Yep, you there?
I believe if we have anything, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, we
okay.
can hear you.
Yeah, maybe this is a good opportunity to develop a one-line example that we can use for open compute purposes. When we're having all of these discussions, draw them out, a 2n and n+1. I know that Schneider had those examples they used when you were talking about your costing of the electrical infrastructure.
Yep, yep. Uh-huh.
You got them in
Maybe
your
we
white paper.
create one in the community.
So an actual one line like AutoCAD type of thing, or?
This is a simplified version and easy to understand. Or if you do a single line diagram, of course, it's the real thing. I mean,
Right. Yeah, yeah. So you know, anyways, my thought, and right or wrong, I'm not tied to it, is that at the specification level where we're kind of just describing a high level design of a all-in-one or a modular, this is probably decent. And then once we get to the submitting a product with the spec, the product would have the detailed design of, our, a certain implementation of the specification.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we lost Brevin. He's all grayed out. I don't know what that means.
It's grayed out.
Yeah, I see in the meeting he's like sort of not
he's
on. Oh, he's down there.
Now he's offline. Looks like he rejoined.
Sharing offline.
Oh, there you are.
So
He's on the road. Hey, Brevin.
Oh, he's.
Yeah, I'm driving right now. Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Well, in Texas, you can do whatever you like. That's how. Driving and leading a meeting and putting in notes and everything
Exactly.
is allowed.
Shooting a gun
Yeah, and shooting
at the same time. So
chasing a bull. Yeah.
So as I was saying, sorry, I got off my corporate VPN, so nobody hack me. But what I was saying is perhaps this is an opportunity to create standardized one lines that are open compute defined or branded, that are just obviously reference examples of potential configurations, high level, general, not a lot of detail, but in terms of capacity or breaker sizes or things like that. So I think what we have as the example is key, and obviously there's going to be multiple different configurations. One either being 2n, n+1, or just n, and I think it'd be good to include those into the specification as options, because each one then influences the design, but they're all viable options.
You think we should have all three specified, n, n+1, and 2n, in this document?
Would your design support all three?
Yeah.
Then we should put all three.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, three.
Now,
three options.
Three options. Sure.
I think the n plus and the n plus, no, they're all three fairly separate. From a high level perspective, we know we can do it in a lot of different ways, but from a high level, I think that we can do it.
Shall we stay with the layout we are using for the moment as in simple Visio, or what do you think?
Well,
is it good enough?
You've got some money saved.
I think that the content is key in this perspective, and we can worry about the format at a later date because we can always copy and paste and do
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
we have to.
absolutely.
But what you have from a content perspective, I think is just fine.
Okay. So yeah, I think you don't showing the document anymore. I lost it anyhow. I'm just looking at the dashboard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, when I signed back in, I lost organizer privileges. If you can add those back.
You can't do it from a mobile app, Brevin. So if you're on a mobile app,
He is not. So we should be good here.
okay.
And we can see your screen again.
Look at that.
Thanks, Brevin.
Thank you.
Woohoo.
The man of great comebacks. Yeah, I can see the screen, and we additional we put in n plus 1 and 2n in those on those headlines with the same layout. And then I have some homework to do when it comes to description, electrical system description, I think.
There you go.
For the cooling,
Simplify.
simplify the cooling system diagram as the same level as you have done. So this is the same. I mean, we have n plus 1 here, inside and outside. We can also add the others if needed. You think it should describe the 3 levels here as well for the cooling? I mean, for you are using the DX in your presentation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I might have a verbal, I might have just a verbal option on, your chilled water, but I don't think I'll draw it out.
No, but I mean, if you have chilled water, you can always change the redundancy level.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have DX, everyone is a single system, so it's always a matter of. I mean, you can double up the condensers, but you don't. Isn't that so? You have one condenser to each in-row cooler, and they can support them independent of the others. But with chilled water system, everything is connected to one circuit or two, if you like. But is it necessary to show 3 options even here, you think, Brevin? Have I lost him again?
Yeah, I don't know what the options would be. I mean, generally, for chilled water like this, I mean, you're going to have n plus 1, crack units or crays, and then n plus 1 chillers.
Yeah.
I think that this is
config. Yeah.
exactly. This is much easier to define, and there's not as much variation. So I just a standard n plus 1 design is sufficient.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay, so just making sure that we covered anything. Roberta, where can the community help define these? Is it more additional work that Swedish Module needs to do to build it out? Or
well,
do we need contributions?
I have homework to do when it comes to transportation and site preparations and so on. Foundation, I think is it enough that we are having a description in text? Do I need to provide some kind of drawing for the foundation, or is it enough that we have a description about how the demands of the prep for the land? What do you think?
I would say that you're not going to define a lot of the details because those are also site specific, depending
Yeah.
on the grade, depending on the soils, depending on all of those other factors. What we do need to include in here is that the site and the foundation that is designed maybe define what the options are. If it can be installed on piers, then we need to say piers are
General term.
electric.
Yeah.
Okay. Or if it can be installed on slab, then we need to say that it can be installed on a slab. But we want to just make sure that we define that so that somebody doesn't just put it out on, bare dirt and have it go into the ground.
Yep. I think we can manage to fill in the things that missing here and complete, and also the drawings needs to be done, and the 3D overview, site overview, and also the different options when it comes to power, and also I think the clarification of the outer environment range.
Yeah.
That's the thing is missing, and should be ready for review next week, I will say, from our side.
Yeah, I think the focus should be in air sporting systems, descriptions of it, how you did transportation site prep. Likewise, up in the technical specifications, we need to go ahead and include all of that. Get the content in there first, and then we can do any drawings afterwards to reflect or clarify any of that. So I think the concentration on those details of the specification maybe should be the focus.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to give plenty of time for the guy at the back of the class.
I did not update anything since last week, unfortunately, other than sending over the genericized Visios to Roberto, but I did get a spec sheet that I should be able to at the end of this week fill this thing in. So you can scroll through here and if people on the call want to see it, but up to you. So site overview, the specs that we have here, and if you keep going, I'll just show you the stuff that I should be able to fill in here the end of this week here, like type of material, IP rating, all that stuff. I gotta get to on the module structure. Yeah. Lifting coding, which I think I have most of that now in another doc I got to transfer over. And if you keep going down, nope, you're there. Can you scroll down? There you go. Yep. So you can see all this stuff that needs to be done. So there's a couple of drawings. I think I'm going to take out the AutoCAD drawing and leave that for actually the product submission. And this was where we talked. You see the egress door there, Nigel, and that was a discussion we had last week, where you have the main door and you got an egress door over there on the other side. And
thanks, Rod.
Yeah, sure. You keep going. couple, without central UPS, get a few more racks. I don't know if I have a plan view. I gotta bribe a couple of draw folks here in the company to draw me, and then all this tech spec I gotta floor loading, roof load, all that stuff I gotta fill out, which I think I have most of it in another document. Yeah, you can keep going, and then the electrical simplified one line. And I got to update this with the more genericized colors. Instead of like the maroon, I'm going to make it regular red and more open compute green. And keep going down. Pretty straightforward stuff. And then description of that. And then I got to do the description of the cooling plant. Yep, you keep going. Yep, transportation, all that stuff is still go. So, yeah, I'm the kid who didn't do his homework, doing his best here to go through it. Don't give me a bad grade, Brevin.
You can do extra credit.
Make up for it.
I think that I feel as though the format that we created in the high level areas are sufficient and they're well defined. Now we need to add in those details for the specifications. If examples are needed, we do have a ton of specifications that have been submitted in the other projects, and those may be good examples of the level of detail that's associated with specifications. You guys, with your experience in building these in the industry, understand that you're trying to meet some sort of specification, and we need to make sure that these are sufficient enough to define those. And so I think that we're good. I do think we need to have some more concentration on the details so that we can have those completed and we can get the community to read through them in detail and give their comments to make sure that we have covered all of our bases.
Cool. All right, so I should be able to get most of this stuff, I think, filled out by next week, because I did get, like I said, I got a guide spec that the prefab guys had sent over to me that I can translate over. I think most of the data's in there, so I should be able to get my stuff done.
Okay. What sort of due date are you guys driving towards? Do we want to put this on next week to be complete? 80%, 90%?
Yes. How's that? Yeah.
Okay. Fabio, Nigel, do you have any other comments regarding anything you feel we should include?
This is my first call on it, so I need to go through and read the documents in all honesty. I like I like Robert Bunger's honesty. So yeah, I need to go through and read some stuff, and then I can provide some valid input. I'll try not to ambush the call next time.
It's all right. We like it.
We appreciate all inputs.
Yeah, for me, it's the first time to join this group as Wagon. We just joined the community during this week, so it was an interesting overview. The first comment I would say is that in this second document for the European market, for sure on the cooling side, we should keep a chill water option, and the reason is that more and more on direct expansion, there are limitations on the refrigerant use. And I mean, at the moment, the new refrigerants are all flammable, which in the data center might not be that much appreciated. So it might be that in the next close future, there is a shift from direct expansion to chill water, at least for the Europe, not for the US, where there are not so stringent regulation as in Europe for the refrigerants. So for sure the X is okay, but we shall, in my opinion, we shall keep the door open also for chill water.
Yeah, that's good feedback. Do you see more deployments of chilled water on the very small scale, like 100 kW, 90 kW?
Not yet, not yet. At the moment, if we have to say today, the today is direct expansion on those capacity, no
Okay.
questions. But
All
if
right.
I have to think to tomorrow, then there are some question about that, because at the moment the proposal from the compressor manufacturer, it's for flammable refrigerant, and at the moment the feedback we are getting from the data center is that they are not happy with flammable refrigerant inside the white space.
So are the new? That's right. So although the new stuff is less ozone depleting, the problem is they've become more flammable. Is that true?
In Europe at the moment, they are looking for the equivalent global warming potential. So it's no more about only ozone; it's also about how many tons of CO2
Oh,
the
right,
refrigerant are equivalent, and that's
right.
what may drive some refrigerant, not today, but in 2-3 years might reduce a lot their use. And then also, even if then maybe they will be allowed, then when people start seeing this as not a green solution, there can be also a market reaction just about the feeling that this is not green, and so I don't want it.
Yeah, that's good info. Good.
Do you know if there's any? Do you guys know if there's any research work into new refrigerants or ones that are less impactful?
Yes. No, I mean, there are now new refrigerants. The chiller market is already moving, because chiller it's sitting outside, to new refrigerant which has lower global warming potential. But those refrigerant today are all slightly flammable. So these can be a barrier, a mind barrier to get into a data center. There is nothing that prevents, but when you speak about something which is slightly flammable inside a data room, someone might say, in my data room, I don't want something that is slightly flammable. So technically, the solution are coming out, but they might be that they are not perfect for the data center. That's the only question. So if it's sitting outside in a chiller, it's fine. If it's sitting in the room, then the customer may say, I prefer not. That's the only point.
Yep.
So these new refrigerants with this flammability are okay to be used within, a water-cooled chiller system, but not whenever it's going into the room.
There can be this barrier. I mean, technically it's possible, but the customer might say, I don't want it. and there are now research for new refrigerant not flammable, but these are at the moment far to come. So it's not something, it's a scenario under evolution. So I'm just saying, let's keep a door open, so we will make this more general.
In terms of capacity, Rob, replacing those DX units of your standard design with a chilled water unit, is there equivalent capacities?
Oh, you
If
could
not,
go higher. Yeah,
capacity.
yeah, right. You could probably, instead of a 90 kW, you could be you know, maybe go up to 110 or something, right? You can generally get squeeze a bit more capacity out of a chilled water coil there. So yeah, so that would move around a bit.
I think the PUE as well, Rob,
Would be
and
better.
energy efficiency, and also there's a lot of discussions up in the Nordics how to reduce. And if you have a water system, it's easier to I mean, connect a heat pump and take it out. We have, you know, we have district heating on our geographic places up in the Nordics, and I think we are extremely close that we don't even need chillers. We can absolutely manage with dry coolers when it comes to those temperature jars that OCP allowed. So I mean, in many cases, if you can allow the warmer temperature to the inlet with chilled water system, we could manage with dry coolers. Up north, we can for sure. So I mean, that's a change going on there, as you say, Fabio. Both, I mean, security-wise, absolutely, but when it comes to environmental and energy efficiency and reuse of energy, I think if you're going to loop in the data center to the ecosystem of society infrastructure, I think you need to aim for chilled water, even though you have standalones like yours, 90 up to 100 kW. Absolutely.
Yeah. And there are some interesting, yeah. So okay, I will. I'll try to expand that. You know, I'll leave the first solution here is DX, but expand a section on chilled water there to make sure that it's a viable option and the benefits it brings. So that's good.
Yeah.
I feel as though once we've gotten this defined, you know, we understand, then we can revisit other discussions that were brought up by the community in the beginning. Is why are we not requiring air, you know, indirect or direct air? Why are we not requiring some of those other things? And when we start to look at these specifications, these designs, and we find that we need to require that the PUE be less than 1.2. Then we can put that in, and we can start to, once we look at a generic design, and we find that it does not meet our scalability or impact or efficiency requirements or tenets, then we start to look at, well, where can we improve on the specification of this design in order to meet those, or to contribute to them more so. So I think that's good comments. And once we get the base and we know what that's going to look like, then we can work on the optimization.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys. I think that it's on you all to continue on these specifications for the two different types. We'll continue through those, and we'll meet up next week.
We do so.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Brian. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.